Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Welcome to another episode of MPL Recall. Sa inyong lingkod, ako nga palang inyong host. Week in and week out, isang malaking karangalan ang makasama kayo lahat. My name is Leo, joined here by our special guests, both returning. Parehong nag-coach na, pero yung isa ring MPL broadcaster, tas yung isa medyo galing States. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome our guests, Paolo Expert and Reptar. Paolo, kumusta?
Okay naman, medyo mainit-init. Kailangan naka-max yung aircon natin.
Grabe. What are the temperatures like these days? I swear, parating na ako yung aircon and I'm afraid to see what my bill looks like. Reptar, ikaw, mainit mo dyan?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, regret nga ako kasi hindi ko alam bakit nakasweater ako. I don't know why I decided to wear a sweater today. Wala na akong iba atang damit. Hindi ko pa nalaban yung sando ko dahil lagi ako napapawisan. Ang init na ng panahon ngayon.
It's laundry day every day kung pinagpapawisan ka parati.
Yeah.
Kayo naman dyan, ng mga manonood, welcome to MPL Recall. We are live and alive. Saying what's up to Muramasa, to Rochelle, to Chester, na napakalaking LPE fan, and to John Paul. Ayan, guys, live tayo. Ginusto ko lang mag-shoutouts na mabilis para mapatunayang live tayo. And of course, today we have a huge list of topics to talk about. Pakita natin. All right, let everyone know what we're talking about today. We're gonna look back at MPL Week 6. We're gonna talk about Blacklist, NXP, Execration, ang tinaguriang Rock, Paper, Scissors meta sa Group A. We'll also be debuting a new segment, and of course, we'll be doing our power rankings. So medyo jam-packed ang week na ito ng MPL Recall.
Yep.
But first, kumusta muna natin ang weekend ng ating mga guests. Paolo Expert, how was your weekend like?
It was the usual. Manood ng MPL, mag-scream kasama yung team, pagalitan ng content. Yeah, pretty normal for me.
Alright. I feel like yung hindi pwede mawala yung pagalitan yung team. But that's just because you love
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunsparks, loving it. Reptar, how about you? We had a broadcast weekend, pero 3 days lang. I'm so glad that it's not 4. Nakakapagod yung mga 4-day weekends. How have you been?
Well, I'm good. Well, again, I'm still very happy with the surprise that you guys did for me nung Sunday. Of course, kung hindi nyo napanood MPL, kasi naging salubong sa birthday ko yung MPL kasi ang haba nung araw. Kala ko na nga magti-25 ako habang nasa broadcast tayo eh. That's how long that entire day felt. But yeah, I'm happy. It was a fantastic weekend and masaya ako na nabigyan ako ng chance na magcast sa Tagalog broadcast. Of course, entire season na sa English ako. But, you know, I wanted to flex a little bit, challenge myself na kaya ko pa rin mag-cast ng Tagalog kahit konti lang. And I'm glad, as always, kasama ko si Manjin and Rob Luna and they did a really great job with helping me out with that. So, thank you to them. And, of course, all the talents for the great weekend.
No other pair I would have asked to cast with in Tagalog if it was my first time, all right? The winningest duo of 2020, no doubt. Great experience. Kinikwento mo palang kinikilig na ako. But here's a few headlines from the past weekend of ML Esports. A big congratulations to the inaugural MPL SG champions, Evos SG. The second title for the Evos franchise this season of MPLs. This is crazy. Paolo, did you see this coming? Was this what you expected?
I actually did not expect this actually. Pero may narinig ako na super interesting. Di ba si Evil Soul dapat nasa management na siya as coach, I think. And he returned as a player for like a week. Okay? 1 week sila nag-practice with Soul and they ended up getting a championship with him. I think they had like internal conflicts with another player. Hindi ko alam kung sino, pero I saw it on his post. So, wow. Congratulations to Evos SG, by the way.
Wow, all right. I love it. Soul, again, just coming in for the clutch. The all-star coming back to grab a title. The inaugural title. Again, this is something that you'll never change. History na to ng MPL SG. But in other news, we also have some bad news. This one, not so nice. One of the star junglers of the MPL Mecca, Indonesia, the grand finalist, Brands of Bigotron Alpha, will be sitting out for MSC 2021. I don't know what the exact suspension sentence is like 1 month ba siya or talagang for the whole quarter or for the whole season hanggang mag-MSC, you know? But yeah, Reptar, how do you think this will affect their chances at MSC? Their star jungler out, possibly si Max o si Renbo Upo. Is this big for BTR?
Yeah, not so much. I think because para sa akin merong inherent advantage yung of course Indo at saka MYSG dahil unang matatapos yung season nila or unang natapos na season nila, which means they have a little bit more time to prepare for MSC para mag-scout ng ibang bansa. Actually, with us here in the Philippines, since yung MSC natin or yung season natin, it's gonna end later. I think we only have just a few weeks or so for the teams na para mag-prepare talaga. So, I don't think it'll really affect it so much because either Renbo or Max yung magre-replace kay Brands dito. And they've already played with the roster beforehand. It might potentially mean that they might regress a little bit to what they were like before natama nila yung timpla nila para makaabot sa finals ng MPL ID. But with the ample time to prepare, I don't think it'll make that much of a big difference.
Yeah, I agree. That's also my take. Na parang at least nangyari to. Again, it sucks that it ever happened. Pero nangyari siya with enough prep time. So either si Max man yan o si Renbo ang mupo, it should be a BTR that's worth playing. It's definitely better than the whole M2 situation, di ba? Na parang dun nyo lang nalaman na si Ahmad hindi pala pwede. Diba? So, again, even Alter Ego kicked ass at M2. Umabot po silang top 6. But with that being said, it's time for us to move on and take a look back at Week 6 of MPL Season 7. We're gonna do the Week 6 recap. We'll start here with Day 1. And this was a shorter day. This was 2 matches. Onyx versus Work and XN NXP. Reptar, talk to us about this.
Yeah, Work also Force versus Onyx PH. After the series, I thought the result against Brand Esports would be much better. That after what they showcased here against Onyx PH, it performed a little bit better against their former scrim partners. It was just a great show by the entire Work also Force squad. I want to highlight here the performance of Kose back-to-back Farsa games, continuing his great Farsa streak from week number 5, especially when he fielded that against Execration. And Onyx PH, a little bit of a dip here, but I wouldn't say it was just a bad Onyx PH series. Work also Force just came out of the gate. They seemed much more prepared. They were more proactive in making plays. Unravel Skufra for 2 games was really great. And it's good to see that Work Oster Force getting a little bit more of that idea that kung gumana naman sa game number 1, adjust lang natin konti sa game number 2 or wag natin masyado i-adjust at all. Let's just change one piece here or there. I believe it was just the Benedette and then the Uranus getting swapped and then si Chu nag-Granger over Lancelot. And then now this time around for Execration versus NXP, the rematch did not disappoint. Sobrang haba nung game number 1. So many things happened here. Actually, kakapanood ko lang ng games ulit kahapon. I was taking down notes. And it was just a lot of back and forth for the first 2 games. Na salitan lang sila. They just kept trading blows. Naka-comeback dito Exe, NXP. It was a close game all throughout. Pero of course, there was one play nung si Ito Max yung abyssal arrow niya. Somehow, nahanap niya si H2O nakatago dun sa shrub malapit sa purple area, and I find it funny. I'm pretty sure people are just joking na sinasabi, uy, nagmamapak si Ito Max. Hindi, that's a veteran pro maneuver talaga na a lot of the pros, if balikan nyo yung previous games, so many of them check the shrubs around the purple buff. Na if they have skills to poke, to check out, they will throw it. And then just luckily, adun nga pala si H2O, and then boom, Ito Max landed it. Game number 2, it was a trade, but this time around, man, Exort here, the Lunox God, the classic combo of the Yawi on a great playmaking tank, and then Lunox will just follow up with a burst from Exort, or the other way around. It was just a great showing from them. And then next play, I feel like what we just saw here is the best of the best of NXP. You have Renegade on the Cho, split push, great rotations, Yawi, Akai, Exort, Lunox. I will always praise that combination. I think right now, out of 4 or 5 series they've played with that specific combo, they have won 3 or 4. So almost always they know really how to convert, and dito natin talaga nakita yung magandang timpla ngayon ni Yawi at Exort. And of course, H2O just great in the entire series. It was a tough thing to take for Execration, but it was a great win there by NXP.
Yeah, this was one of those Exe going a little lower, NXP going a little higher, momentum shift. Let's talk about Day 2 here. Day 2 had 3 matches. It started with Signal, Ultra versus Aura. Paolo Expert, simulan na nga natin. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, for this series, I actually thought na may masisweep ng Aura yung Signal because whenever I watch Signal, parang nahihirapan sila mag-close out ng games. And I actually think that they're one of the fewer teams that are actually really good at drafting. Okay? Feel ko lang talaga hindi sila, yung players nila, since maraming players na napalit nga, their playstyle don't mesh well together. It's from what I see at this point. Kasi wala silang di sila nanalo ng kahit isang series. They won a couple games, but they never won a series. It just comes down to chemistry at the end of the day, and Aura just outplayed them, honestly. I'm just gonna make it short and concise for this series. Aura just played so much better. They played to their comfort picks, honestly. And Signal, they drafted good. They played to their comfort. But, it's just not good enough. Okay, for the second series, Blacklist versus OMG, dito naman nilabas ni Wise yung Aldous jungler niya, nakita natin. Something very, very exciting to see. Nakita niyo, very cool. But I think this, this pick only works with a peel type of support, katulad nga ni Venus. And it's very fun to see, new strats coming out. And I'm sure there's more from Coach Bonchan. To show na hindi pa niya pinapakita kasi I'm just not gonna say anything kasi nakascrim namin yan at some point. So but yeah, there's more to see in Blacklist, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. Very dominating fashion with Blacklist 2-0 against OMG. Dito naman sa last series natin, Bren versus Work. Honestly, dito ko na nakikita yung parang world champion na Bren eh. Napakalinis eh. Malinis, okay? I'm not sure if it was just their day or if Work Oster Force just had an off day. But they really outplayed Work Oster Force this whole series, honestly. Hopefully Bren could keep playing like this, in the playoffs. Di ko alam kung if they're gonna keep their performance like this. But Carl Tizzy finally stepping up. Not even Carl Tizzy, just the whole team is stepping up finally in this series. Hindi natin nakita yon within last week, right? Yung Bren versus Onyx, na 2-0 sila ng Onyx. We didn't see that. They really got outplayed by Onyx. Pero itong last week na to, previous week na to, talagang Bren, nagpapakita na talaga na hindi na sila nagbibiro. No more playing around. Playoffs is around the corner and we're ready to go. Okay? So excited na ako makita yung Bren sa playoffs.
Crazy. There's a few things in Day 2 that kind of cemented what our topics were going to be for this episode of MPL Recall. So more on that later. Headlines coming up. But let's talk about Day 3, the last day of Week 6. Dito tatlo rin ang ating series. And it started with Aura sweeping LPE. Reptar, what happened here?
Oh, Aura, if in day number 2, Bren just looked like World Championship. Bren, ang linis ng galaw nila. Aura PH looked like former 2-time champion, formerly known as Sun Sparks, now Aura PH. Aura PH. That's the version we got. And there's so many things to commend here. The play of JP, especially on the Cho, game number 1 against LPE. Ang lupit ng isang play na ginawa niya na parang pumektos yung Way of the Dragon niya. Kasi yung Way of the Dragon na yun, sinipa niya si Ryota nasa harap, pero dahil sa sobrang bilis ata ng daliri niya nung nag-flicker siya sa likod, napunta sa likod si Ryota kung saan naghihintay yung Aura PH. And of course, in game number 2, LPE with showing the position for support, mid support, Lapu-Lapu, it worked out great in the early game, pero just one play from Aura PH that Benny QT decided to, let's take this fight again, na turn around nila. Then eventually Aura won the series 2-0. Signal versus Exe naman, you could feel the nerves and the frustration coming in from Execration. Of course, nakikita natin yung mga sinasabi ni KLVJ and the rest of the Exe squad. These are men hungry to win. They are in a long losing streak, but then they just needed to show up here. I feel like nerves became a factor in game number 1. Also, Signal Ultra, equally gutom sila na manalo ng series nila first to finally win their first series. But then, after what happened in game number 1, it was still a relatively close game number 2. But then Execration were able to make the right plays. Kelra stepped up. KLVJ as well went deathless in that game. And then led by Ito Max, did a lot for Exec, and then game number 3 was just dominating from Execration despite Signal Ultra fielding the Zask Bruno Estes lineup again. Now for Onyx NXP, this was a very, very fun series to watch. So many back and forths. Ito na yung panahon na medyo ramdam mo na yung pagod a bit in the studio because it was a long day. But after the game 2 that we got and just after this whole series, parang nagising ulit because, oh man, what else can I say about the series? It was just so fun to watch. You saw in game number 1 the best that Onyx, what Onyx was known for. Great rotations, carry as always. And Dilar showing up for the team, but in games 2 and 3, NXP decided to, okay, we need to get these wins. We need the points here to be even safer in our spot here in the bracket kasi baka makahabol pa yung LPE. Who knows? So then they showed up, they popped off, eventually reversed it 2-1. A bit of like looking back at the game, maybe there could be better draft decisions from both teams, but then ultimately I feel like what really shined here is how they executed and moved in the game. You saw that from both teams really well, but then NXP just showed up better and then they won the series.
Yep, medyo mahirap ang sitwasyon ni Onyx ngayon. How much can really chalk up to a bad week or a bad day if 2 series in a weekend alone medyo tagilids. But we'll talk more about that later. Again, this week kind of cemented a few headlines for us to talk about here on MPL Recall. So yan ang pag-usapan natin sa pagbabalik. We are gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Saying what's up real quick to Daniel, Heran, to Justin, Baile, to Arwin, and as well to Ronnie. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, if you haven't yet, please do share the stream and let everyone know that MPL Recall is live and alive. Magbabalik kami dito. Huwag kayong aalis. MPL Recall will be right back. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving us a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook via the link in the description. Thanks.